everybody? My name's Mike. Last name's Herber, Herber. Today is December 15th, 2025. I've been a targeted individual since I can remember, since I was a kid, right? I've had, when I was a kid up until now, and up and through like middle school and high school, I didn't have any of it really. I didn't notice targeting really back then. I didn't really notice targeting it until the police had started this in 2010, 2009. I started noticeably, so as a young adult, I'll say I've been gang stalked for all 32 years of my life and organized harass, because when you look back, they were undoubtedly doing, uh, right, they're undoubtedly doing, experiments on me. What I want to put out there, though, is the title of this video is going to be called "They Gossip, I Sharpen." These pussies that gang stalk targeted individuals, these spineless little bitches, man, they couldn't endure what we've gone through. You notice they like to dish it out, but hell, you talk any shit to them or talk any smack back to them, and they really have an ego trip. It destroys their ego. Because, and not only do I do that, I talk shit with clarity and with truth. I hit them with real facts. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear convoluted stories, false narratives. They want to hear, skewed time frames and lapses of time. They want to dig up my past and talk shit about it when they know they're wrong. St. Vincent Ascension Center, you're wrong. You violated me. Let's see, Aspire, Indiana, and Carmel, fuck you. IU Health Network in fucking IU Health North District in Carmel, fuck you. And Community Health Network, hey, fuck you too, you little bitch. I've got no fucking respect for them. Some of the police officers around here, I'm not going to say all. I'm not going to say those organizations as a whole are terrible, like every part doesn't help people. They do what they do, but when it comes down to psychiatry and targeted individuals, that's where they start this gossiping shit. That's where they start spreading misinformation in the local community, in the public community. And this is in every local and public community that's local to where the target is living, okay? I've dealt with this real bad and I have moved hundreds of miles away, and I've still had the same organized stalking and harassment. I've had people turn on their headlights, blaring music, lie to me, gaslight me, minding my own business. They're shining their lights through my window while I'm trying to sleep. This was 700 miles away. It got so bad where, all the roommates were accusing me of hacking a few of them were accusing me of hacking the Wi-Fi. Then they were being cool with me. And then what was really weird was there's a few, 2 to 3 roommates there at that. This is in Minnesota. I'm from California, but I was living in Indiana around 4 years ago. And this was my last trip in Minnesota. And basically, there was a few guys there that claimed to know what targeting is and organized stalking, and they claimed to have dealt with it and just, moved, a few cities away, and it stopped. That was one big clue that you're either a weak target, meaning they don't really care that much about like targeting you. B, you're probably full of shit, because when you move like I said, states, cities, countries, they will still target the targeted individual across all borders and barriers and boundaries. That makes no difference to them. It makes no difference at all. It causes conflict, but it makes no difference. The conflict is everlasting. I mean, this is for the life of the targeted individual. They will target you electronically, wirelessly. I've had corporations like, say, this corporation, this happened today, Square, the point of sale reader. I tried to process a payment. They linked my old phone number to my new account, right? Such bullshit. Had to waste hours of my time getting that done. And when I really needed the money, they had blocked me on Friday. They'd come up with 2 excuses why they didn't want to give me my fucking money. And then I called the police and like, well, I'm not really calling you to make a report. I'm calling to ask you, is this civil or criminal? And I knew. I just wanted to hear what he said. I was like, isn't that theft? They're not giving me my money that I work for myself. Not that another company gave me and cut me a piece of cheddar off. They're not going to. If you're a targeted individual, you're better off, man. I mean, being a contractor or working for yourself, owning your own business, that's really the only way to go about this. And they'll try to hinder your business. They'll try to do this and that. They try to make sure I can't file my DBA online. I've got to do it by mail. They block some of my mail too. Money and certain shit that I need. They've if there's any point of extraction for to intercept or intervene or interject and impose their will, they will do it. They'll mess with targeted individuals' mail again. While they gossip, I sharpen. I'm sitting there working out. I'm sitting there running a business. I'm sitting there reading books. I'm sitting there meditating. I'm sitting there decalcifying my pineal gland. I'm sitting there doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats. I'm sitting there I'm not sitting there. I'm going on runs. They're sitting. They're doing more of the sitting, the lazy. That's how a lot of gang stalkers are really fucking lazy and entitled people. Oh, how dare you come in here and make our mediocrity look exactly for what it is. It's mediocrity. Just got a job promotion, Bob. All the basic Bobs will tell you, I just got a job promotion. Well, yeah, but you still work for another company. You still work for a company. I have not had the opportunity. Now, I'm being so serious on this. Since I was 16, since I started getting organized stalked. Organized stalked is a better term, for lack of a better term, than gang stalk. Gang stalk makes the whole thing seem like it's a gang, and this is all gang shit. It's not. They function in a gang-like structure. That's how they move. That's how they function. But it's not an actual gang members. I'm sure some of them are. Gang members would probably laugh at organized stalkers that pretend to be hard. They pretend to be thugs. They're not. They're pooling their money and the resources together to protect their cult. And what I know is that these global cults, including Scientology, parts of Freemasonry, the Shriners, the Bilderberg Group, the Illuminati, the Royal 13, the Council of 100, the Trilateral Commission. I mean, you can look all this stuff up, Opus Dei. You can look all this stuff up, and it's all legitimate. And yes, they do have power in the banking system. They do have power, meaning, obviously, if they have power and we're being gang stalked and we're fighting for any inch or morsel or particle of any control in our lives, we're being messed with. We don't have the power that they have. We have innate power. They have spiritual power. They have physical power. Okay, they're able to physically move, chess pieces around and screw people over. They're able to pay off banks. A lot of these people already got one or two snakes working at every major branch, every major bank, the Federal Reserve is completely rigged. It's a privately owned fund. And when you look at this, when you really look at this, I said this years ago, I'll make a video called this too. When you start exercising your rights, I was hit with backlash. I was hit with disrespect from the United States system. They have shown me, that democracy is an illusion. It's only there for enough people. I want to say it's still there. But with targeted individuals, there is no democracy. There is no constitutional rights. There are no civil rights. They enforce the law that everyone's expected to live by, but they also violate it. So they're playing a lot of the same gossiping, coward, lazy motives, where they're fat, fucking lazy, and out of shape, and they're contempt. They're satisfied with their low-level jobs, and that's why they don't want to let me into any of their low-level jobs, because they know I'll dominate them by accident. And that has happened at every job. I've been the number one employee at every job, and then finally it got to the point where they just couldn't, I was undeniable, and so since I was undeniable, they knew this, they had to blacklist me and black label me from all W-2 employment. That's where I'm currently at. It's just, I'm fine. I own a business that's growing. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried of going backwards. I'm only progressing. I'm only moving forward. I'm moving onward, upward, and outward, and ever expansive. in all directions, infinitely. I'm not worried about, this criminal network, this criminal syndicate, because that's what it is. This is a criminal network of criminals that are all brainwashed. They're part of this cult. They want things done a certain way. They want, certain last names in and certain people totally just buried, like myself. I mean, if you're a Christian, you notice the type of people they're really going after? Christians. They are targeting Christians now more than they ever have in modern recent history. They are targeting on this very day, and every day moving forward, they're going to target Christians harder and harder. And that is what they are doing. That is what our government is doing to Christianity. They are destroying that religion. They are trying to make it to where Christians won't be able to buy, they won't be able to sell, they won't be able to transact. And it'll happen in every, not just the United States, it'll happen in every country if we don't stop this bullshit. If we don't stop the total abuse and control of power, if we don't audit the hierarchy, we need to start looking at this stuff and working together, people. I mean, if we don't start breaking this shit down, where did that come from? And defending each other as a community, as Americans, for Christ's sake. That's what they want. They want a mutiny. They want us to attack. They want us to confuse us, to conquer and divide. It's part of the 48 laws of power, right? They don't want you to outshine the master. Okay, never outshine the master. The hand that feeds us, it could be better than master. Just don't outshine them. Don't let them know that. Don't show them. Could divide and conquer. The other ones, don't show your hand. Remain secretive. I'm implementing all of these tactics, the 48 laws of power, and many more. I read a lot up on like Machiavelli recently. I like that shit. Very, very tactical dude. I like a lot of what that dude has to say. More fucking spam. Get off my line, bitch. Go gossip somewhere, you little bitch. Go gossip about some partial truths and lies. Another tactic that they'll gossip about is they'll inflate truths and deflate your successes, minimize successes that I've had. Just say it was luck, or it was a phase, or he got lucky, or he was helped, or somebody trained me. Nobody's trained me. I never worked for the fucking government, never will, never have, and I would never sell my soul to a system that's so fake, that hates Christians. But yet, on the back of the dollar bill says, "In God we trust." Now, I don't hate the United States. It's not what I'm saying. I love the United States. I want to put the United States on a pedestal. I really do. I want to say we're the best country in the world. But if this is the best country in the world, and we're doing this to our own people, right? We're doing this to people who are not terrorists, who are not, drug dealers, who are not pedophiles. And if somebody is one of those, then yeah, they should be targeted. Yes, they should be organized stalked. They should be organized stalked until they confess to their crime. But here's what they're really doing, everybody. Here's what they're really on. They're targeting some of the best people on the planet, some of the purest souls, some of the best human beings, right? Some of the nicest people. They are targeting those people so that they can take credit for some of the ideas that those people have had. They can take credit. They can keep them out the way. More money for less. Obviously, they've got to keep the cult in the money financial system with right down to an algorithm of who's going to date who's going to how much are they going to make together or alone or when they whatever, what industry is who going to be involved with, who's going to be the industry and where. It's all controlled, most of it. And when you're a no-namer and you, like me, and you enter a market, you enter a system, they are not anticipating that. But I'll say this, they're not liking it. They're not anticipating it. But I will say this, they can't deny it. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you provide a product or a service and it's better than theirs, well, looks like the new entry just became the winner, just became the leader, just became the victor. And they don't want that. They don't want targets to have not only a 180 degree flip, a 360 degree total reinvention of themselves. They want to bury targeted individuals by gossiping, slandering, isolating, covertly drugging, costing and extorting money out of our cars, damaging our equipment. So I'm forced to replace in order to function, and continue to move forward. I have to replace this shit frequently, and I really don't want to, but I have to. And so it gets to the point, man, where it's really fucking annoying. I've dealt with it for decades, but in my most recent adult life, I've noticed the past 17 years really, really bad. That's almost 20 years straight plus my whole life. But noticeably, that's when I started dealing with the police. That's when I started dealing with friends that wanted me to date a whore. That's when I was dealing with, so they could laugh at me while everyone else fucks, this chick. That was my first girlfriend, was a complete whore. And I didn't really care. I thought I would just bang it here and there. But in today's world, most people are whores and cheat on everybody anyway. Nobody's really real anyway. Most people are fake. And if the money's good enough and the dollar signs are big enough, most women will leave for that other man. Right? They don't care about authenticity, about being genuine. People don't care about that. They care about how something looks. They care about the exterior. Oh, well, how does that look? Oh, well, are you dealing with normal stuff? My mom would always ask me, what's going on in your life? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Do you want the real version or do you want the Mickey Mouse version? Because I'm only going to give you the real, raw, uncut, fucking non-filtered shit. So if you want the fake ass shit, you're not going to get it from me. You're only going to get that from me if I have to deceive you for my own safety. Okay? That's going to be the only way that I fucking lie sometimes lying's necessary. Sometimes I got to protect myself from these idiots. Beautiful sky out there. I wanted to get that on the video. Sometimes it's not about what money can buy. It's about the beauty of just being still and being present in the moment. Meditation, like mindfulness. I've been doing a lot more of that lately. And if you're a targeted individual and you're somewhere cold, I feel for you. It's terrible where I'm at. It's in Indiana. I'm from California. We don't get snow unless you're going to go, get up on the mountainside and go like snowboard or ski or some shit. Then yeah, you got snow at the mountaintops, like in Flagstaff out in Arizona. But you don't have that shit over here. It's just incredible though, man, how they'll get corporations involved. They'll get people involved. And you're all cowards. You're pitiful. You didn't earn, for the people that didn't earn their position in life, I don't think highly of you because you hold that position. I say, well, how did that person, did they earn it? Did they get it? Well, even if they did earn it and get it, are they being organized, stalked, and harassed? Everybody is being stalked, but not everybody's being harassed. Harassment is what narcissists do when they feel like they don't understand someone's rise. They don't understand how someone's mind works. They're jealous sometimes of somebody's how they feel inferior because they feel like you have a more advanced mindset than they do. And I noticed that's why they're targeting a lot of people. A lot of people are becoming targeted because they'll just say, that guy knows too much. You know too much. And I do know too much. I've cracked the code on a lot of parts of the system that most people will never figure out. I know things that people will never figure out. They are wondering how I figured out what I figured out without being told. I have this ability to figure things out without knowing how I know it. I just know it. Not even lived it. I haven't even experienced it, been put in that example, that scenario, but I just have learned through trauma, through isolation, being gaslighted and lied to consistently enough where it's becoming a lot harder to lie to me. If they're going to talk shit, they're hiding while they do it. They're hiding. They do it behind my back. They're not going to get people to come knock on your door and start screwing with you and targeting you like that. They're going to do it. You see how it's getting dark out? They're going to do it when it gets dark. And I've heard this a lot. They hit targets when it's dark. They hit your car. They really like to mess with targeted individuals' vehicles. That is something they want you walking. They want you walking. They want you on foot. They don't want you to have a vehicle. So it's easier to sacrifice. It's easier to kill the targeted individual. A lot of TIs are the sacrificial lamb of their community. We are targeted some of us have been targeted into our own death with no way out, no way to escape. You got a whole group of motherfuckers that are after you, including the judges, the police, and it's not necessarily that they hate you. It's the people that are more powerful than them that have paid them off to where now what was once good has now become the controlled opposition. Okay, so the controlled opposition is, a lot of targets know about that term. And there's another term I want to add in that. The controlled opposition, the hidden hand of misdirection. What I've depicted that is from another target's channel. I'm not going to say who, but I respect all targets that are willing to have the balls to make channels out here. We're risking our fucking lives making channels. So anyone thinks it's funny, go do what you do. Go gossip, go be a coward behind closed doors, talk your shit, get your little dopamine kick, your little bitch ass little serotonin lift, and get the fuck out of my head, dude. You're not living in my head rent free. Get the fuck out of my face. They will. I don't even have to tell these cowards. Their directed conversations don't work on me anymore. I carry weapons with me everywhere I go. All I'm doing is training, building myself, sharpening the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. I'm sharpening myself. I'm making myself more of a weapon. It's harder to lie to me. It's harder to assault me. It's harder to break into my car. It's still possible. They can still hurt me. They can still kill me. They can still shoot me. But they think twice, 3 times, maybe even 4 times before they come out and hit and do it now. They're scared shitless of me. I guarantee you, the guys, that these people are more afraid of us. That's why they started attacking us out of fear. Fear that they're going to lose control. And that if you're outspoken about what they've done even slightly before that, if you're outspoken about it, then, they're going to look even worse. If you were to rise and remain unscathed and untouched, you're going to make them look like complete jackasses. The jackasses that are celebrating mediocrity, they're going to look like the complete jackasses that they actually are. And they cannot, narcissists cannot handle that. They cannot handle the mirror. They cannot handle being confronted for what they are. Okay? They have to, I thought I heard something in the background. I think it was a cat. And I lost my voice a little bit. Again, this is from yelling at customer service, talking to the police again today. This is so often. This is severe. This is highly concerning. This is very illegal, what these people are doing. I got to the point where I'm like, I almost just sold my soul years ago. I got to the point where I'm like, well, if you can't be a good guy, you can't beat them. You risk dying. Might as well just become a piece of shit. So I started looking at tarot cards. I started going down the witchcraft loophole, wormhole. I was looking at candle magic. I was looking at other stuff. Only because I realized, like, dude, I'm not going to be able to be a Christian and remain untouched. And then I went back to Christianity because I realized it's the right way. Everything else is a lie. Anything that doesn't, I don't want to say all other religions aren't relevant. They are. They still have weight. They still matter. But I say, and that's fine if you're not a Christian. I'm not going to say you're wrong because you're Hindu. You're wrong because you're Buddhist. That's your belief system. I'm not here pushing that stuff. I'm not a guru on this channel. I'm here talking about organized stalking, and it is spiritual. So people are doing this. Well, they're being influenced one way or the other, or they're playing into it because it's easy. It's easy to play into a narrative where everyone hates this person, or he's just the weirdo, or he's the outcast. Let's make fun of him, whatever. That's easier to do than to defend that motherfucker. That's way easier than to take sides with the outcast. That's why we're all outcasted, and some of us do know too much. We really do. We know they'll say that guy's a little too smart for his own good. You're a little too free thinking for your own good. You need to shrink. You need to size it down. You need to tone it down, buddy. You need to do this. You need to do that. They want to control. They want to manipulate, manage, and control the target's life through sensitization, gossiping, slandering, bad-mouthing, costing us money. Because at least
at the very least, they just make you look like a nutcase. Okay? So all their, and that tells you a lot about who they are, these people. They're clinging to the past. Remember when we had control of them? Oh, remember this? Remember that? Yeah, but let's look at the present. Let's look at the future. That outweighs my past. Because in the past, I was naive. I didn't know, and a lot of people didn't know what you're not ready for a whole group of people that want to basically declare war on your life. Nobody's ready for that. It's a whole cult, man, and these global cults and these other, like I said, Masonic orders and frats that are involved that know about it, and they hire other people, the local crackhead on the corner, whoever, the runner going down the street, checking their watch a few too many times, the guy that could be coughing and they do cough and they do signal and they do stuff like that and they color code and shit like that to let you know, you are playing your game, like the movie The Game. This is your game and you are playing it and you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. From what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've personally experienced, you are targeted so harshly and so brutally to where they want you to. The goal is to get you to kill yourself. That's the easiest way. And that way, they don't have to get their hands dirty. They don't have to worry about crime scene forensics. They don't have to lie about reports. They don't have to pay anybody off. Because then when they kill you, it gets reckless. It gets very, very. Then people go to jail. Then it gets dangerous. But if they can get someone to off themselves, they don't get their hands dirty. There's no crime scene evidence. There's no murder weapon. There's no strangulation. There's no fingerprints, hair, saliva, blood, piss, witnesses, jury trial. There's no trial at all. It's just, hey, this guy's dead. And they've also lied about deaths before. That's nothing new. If they have to and they feel like they really want to take somebody out to make an example out of someone for being ambitious that's not a part of this cult, this global cult. And there's a lot of people that did work in the government that don't currently work in the government that are still a part of this cult, and they're perps. If you're a part of this cult, you're an active perp. I mean, and vice versa. You're a cult member, you're a perp. You're a perp, you're a cult member. And within this, there's a hierarchy. So there's handlers, there's perps, there's gang stalkers. Subtle difference between perps and gang stalkers. Gang stalkers are actually signed up, they're actively working to do this. Perp is anyone that signed up with this program to perp on you, and anybody who is just, they don't even have to be sanctioned or registered. It's just anybody they're using that's trying to infiltrate your life and ruin your life and ruin our lives. I am tired of it. I'm not going to deal with this for the rest of my remainder of my life. They've ruined a great portion of my life. Some very cherishable years were basically flushed down the toilet. But it's been a learning curve. So this whole time I've just strengthened myself, sharpened the knife, became more aware, became more clear. And at one point, I couldn't focus at all because the confusion had layered into trauma, had layered into paranoia, had layered into, being depleted, deprived, depraved, isolated. That alone, all of that alone, happening multiple times a week, month, year, many times throughout the year. You'll notice they'll do stuff to your car. That alone, it only takes a couple, one or two experiences. And when they keep hammering home on this shit, that is creating a layering effect of trauma that probably will never go away. It'll probably be there permanently. You probably never take a drink. I probably never take a drink from someone again. I don't like to take food or drinks from people. I don't like to leave my food or I don't like to leave my drink unattended. I won't go to the bathroom. If I have a plate of food out, I'll literally bring my food to the bathroom with me. I won't leave it out. I think if there's a chance they could put something in there, they might. I know they've put laxatives in my food before. They've drugged me. They have, done other things that were definitely used to slow me down. And if they really believe that we're mentally ill, do you think they'd be so rude to us out in public? Do you think they'd be firing us off every job. I mean, this is the severity, man, of this situation. This is just what it is. This is not good. This stuff needs to be confronted. People need to go to jail. And eventually, I believe that we're closer now than ever. The tension is rising. People are getting tired of it. There's going to be an uproar. If the government does not stop doing this to people and allowing it to happen, there's going to be an uproar. There's going to be enough Americans that are sick and tired, even if that's 1 to 3% of the population that's being targeted. 3% of 50 million, 340, 60 million people. That's still a lot of people that are pissed off, that are not happy that you're ruining their life, and they're allowing it. And they've got. I want to make this very clear. They've got every personality, every industry, and every type of different man or woman from any walk. All walks of life have been targeted. Clean cut, people that come from bummy families, rich families, middle class, upper middle class, very wealthy. They have taken people from all walks of life. Although I will say this, they don't usually target the wealthy. They usually target people who are on their way to success. They see their potential and it frightens them, because then they have to admit that they were wrong at some point, and they have to admit that you were right and that you know what you're talking about. And that, there's gonna have to be apologies at that point. Because you'd be like, oh, more successful somebody is in American society, they're going to say, oh, well, they're credible. I can believe what they're saying. That's how we equate success with credibility. A lot of people automatically, oh, he's driving a Jaguar and he's got a big house and he's got a few cars at the crib. Not only is he successful, but he's believable. I believe, this person. You can't believe everything you see. I don't believe them. I don't believe a lot of these people, because they're not being organized stocked. They're getting the things of this world. They're remaining untouched. They're remaining unscathed, undisturbed. So, and they're not altering their life. They're helping them get away with crimes. So, with that, this is a short little 30-minute clip. I'm going to get out of here. I've got some work to do tonight, and I don't have time to be just fucking lipping off about organized stalking for hours and hours and hours. I just don't have time for it. With that, I'm going to get going. Bye.